Welcome to Stay Grounded with your host, me, Jana. I'm the founder of Java Press Coffee Company, and my life changed after my mentor died with 3 months left until retirement. That experience inspired me to start a personal journey to discover how we can all live a purpose-driven and meaningful life starting today. I interview everyone from best-selling authors and business moguls to extreme athletes and monks to discuss happiness, success, and fulfillment, to uncover powerful takeaways that empower you to stay grounded and make passionate living a reality. To access post-podcast discussions, insights, and further resources, visit rajjana.com/stay grounded. So thanks for joining me today. Now, let's get to grinding. All right, well, welcome to episode 57 of Stay Grounded. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. This episode's a little different because I'm going to be, reflecting on the year. And I know I don't do a lot of solo episodes just because we have such amazing guests who come onto the show. But I felt it was fitting because 2018 has been one of the biggest years of my life and one of the biggest years with so much change, so much growth, and just so many lessons that I felt I wanted to make sure you guys heard along the way so that these don't get lost into the flesh. But this was my first full year as an entrepreneur. This was, before 2018, I used to be an engineer and I built my company on the side. And so for the longest time, I always had some sort of a safety net underneath me to cushion myself as I was building a business and kind of growing my own identity, my own awareness of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And for the first time in my life, I actually didn't have that. So in 2018, I didn't have the steady paycheck. I was a full-on entrepreneur, and I was going through a yearly planning process a couple of weeks ago and looking back on 2018 and thinking about what I wanted for 2019. And I'm actually going to share that process with you guys because this process allowed me to get so much clarity and closure and extract the lessons I needed from 2018 that I think it's going to be helpful for everyone. But before I dive into that, I'm going to share just what the process is, what it looked like for me, and then what my biggest lessons were after I actually went through the process. So the process itself is 7 questions that you ask yourself, 7 questions in reflection and looking forward. But these are 7 questions you can ask in any part of life to really find closure with what you're doing. Now, I use it as a year-end planning process, but this works so well for closing out different chapters of life, whether it's graduation, whether it's retirement, whether it's a new job, whether it's a new city. In whatever part of life you're in, I think that this process has a lot of weight. So the 7 questions. Question number 1, who or what would you like to acknowledge? And this can be anything. You can acknowledge yourself. You can acknowledge a mentor. You can acknowledge a person. You can acknowledge a family member. It doesn't matter. But the first question is, who or what would you like to acknowledge? And for me, this is reflecting back on 2018. Question number 2, what would you like to acknowledge yourself for? Question number 3, what would you like to let go of moving into 2019? Question number 4, what did you love most about 2018? Question number 5, what would you want more of or want to be different in 2019? And question number 6, what would you need to feel complete closure in 2018? And then question number 7, what's next for you right now? So I spent roughly around 15 to 20 minutes answering these 7 questions last week. And one thing that kept coming up for me was this idea that this was my first real year as an entrepreneur. The last year has been so growth filled. I mean, everything from dealing with, I had my first lawsuit this year. We ended up pursuing a lawsuit against some other companies that were infringing on our IP. I hired a bunch of people. I fired a bunch of people. I traveled a lot. I had my first speaking engagement. I did, or a really big, meaningful speaking engagement. I did stand up for the first time. It's just, we've crossed 50 something episodes of the podcast. When I look back on my year, there was so much for me to be proud of and so much for me to be grateful for. But one thing that kept coming up for me, and one thing that I'm personally going to let go of moving into 2019, is the idea of dependence. For me, dependence comes from wanting things to be a certain way as opposed to transforming myself into someone that can thrive regardless of what the situation is. So depending on a certain set of circumstances, depending on certain people to show up, like by me depending on something, that's me falling in love with my comfort zone. And if I look at all of the pain and the growth I've had this year, it's come from me not feeling comfortable. It's come from me pushing the boundaries of what I thought was possible for myself. It's come from me going out of my way to create new things and be bigger and try and elevate beyond what I thought was possible. But in that same vein, all of the pain that growth caused led to a lot of lessons. But for me, the dependence on comfort caused suffering, because every time I'd go into something that was out of my comfort zone and I wished it weren't, or I wished something wasn't happening, I would suffer. And when I was suffering, I didn't have the opportunity to make changes, to be nimble, to grow, to act, because suffering kept me in a state of wishing. And suffering kept me in a state of, oh, I wish things would be different. So moving into 2019, I want to lose that dependence. I want to lose the dependence of the comfort that comes from being really an employee in life, waiting for things to happen to me or like things that are happening, like taking that for granted. Like, I don't want to move through life anymore depending on things to be a certain way. I want to develop the trust in myself that regardless of what happens in my life, what comes in my way, I'm going to be able to maneuver and move in a way that gives me confidence and confidence in my own abilities to figure anything out. Now, that's a long-term goal. That's not something that can happen overnight. And I can't obviously lose my love of comfort, because I think we as human beings are designed to be comfortable. There's an intrinsic need of survival that's there with it. But what I am saying is that I don't want to need comfort. I can want comfort and I can experience comfort and I can be grateful for comfort, but I don't need it. And I think that was the biggest shift for me in my reflections for this year, was just recognizing how much I needed comfort in order to feel safe in 2018. And for me, in my own vision for my life, feeling comfortable and being able to maneuver in the face of discomfort are two intrinsically separate conversations. And for me, I want to be able to go forward with the trust in myself that it doesn't matter if I'm comfortable or not. I can find comfort in the trust I have in myself. I have the faith in myself to create comfort whenever I need to. And that comes from pure faith in self. And so 2019, I'm going to be building faith in myself. I'm going to be building faith in what I can do, what I believe I can do, what I want to do. And I invite you all to take a plunge and trust yourselves to have the greatest year on planet Earth. Create the year you want, experience the year you want, and move forward with the intention that if you actually take a chance on being happy, on doing the things you've always wanted to do, develop the trust that you will be able to create the comfort that comes from accomplishing said things whenever you need to. So I hope you guys have a fantastic close to the year. There's a lot of amazing changes coming in 2019. For one, I'm going to start releasing more of these episodes, especially since I've been getting a lot of requests from everybody for more solo episodes, answering different questions. So if you guys have questions that you want answered, shoot me an email at hello@rajjana.com, get into the Facebook group, just get involved. And I'm always answering questions. And if it's a question that comes up enough, you might actually get an individual episode for it. Second thing is we're going to be moving all of our interviews to Monday through Friday. I want to be there for you guys as you guys are working on your goals, as you guys are building the lives you love. And I want to be inspiration for you, especially if you're working full time or if you have responsibilities that are weighing you down. I want to start creating, and I want these episodes to be your anchor. That's what staying grounded really is. Staying grounded is about finding your roots, finding your anchors, and then remembering your why. And these conversations that we have on the show are all designed to help you evoke that sense of purpose and passion for life. That idea that you are doing something for a bigger reason than just the money, or you're doing something for a bigger reason than somebody told you to do something. You're doing this because you want to. You want to create a life you love because you know you can experience a full and extraordinary life. And I want this podcast and all the content we create to be a beacon, a flame for you as you move through life and as you create and live the goals you always wanted to live. So for that reason, we're going to be moving all of our content to Monday through Friday, and lots of amazing guests coming up in 2019, guys. If 2018 was any indication of what we have, 2019 is just going to be bigger and better. And I'm going to continue showing up as my truest and fullest self in service to help all of you create the lives you love. And by extension of that, help me experience the life I want to experience as well. So we're all in this together. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. I hope you guys enjoyed all the episodes in 2018. And I hope you guys are really excited for what's coming next, not only for the show, not only for you, but just for all of the impact you're going to be creating and we're going to be creating together as we show the world how to live a full and extraordinary life. So with that being said, I want to wrap this episode up. Enjoy the new year, be safe, and I hope the holiday season has brought you everything you've wanted. And I hope you guys are just excited and ready to take the wheel into your own hands and create the life you've always wanted. So happy 2018. Here's to an even better 2019, and stay grounded. Thanks for joining us today on this episode of Stay Grounded. I hope you found this interview helpful as you create your own ways to live an extraordinary life. For more resources and support, please visit www.rajjana.com/stay grounded to join the official Stay Grounded Facebook group, a place where aspiring life enthusiasts can connect and ignite passion for life together. My hope is that the positivity, content, resources, and support in this group will resonate with you on a deeper level. That what you hear in our podcast, read in our thoughtful posts, or learn in our courses will empower you to live with intention, uncover true purpose, and challenge the internal dialogues that stop you from being who you really want to be in your life. Again, thanks so much for joining us. Stay grounded.